Nigel Ayala giving tiny figurines to his new friends.
Hi, Legendary fans, I'm Gareth. This is day one for Godzilla.
What is good, YouTube? Warstu here with a video on the future of the MonsterVerse. Yes, we've gone back with the original intro, so if you're new around here, make sure to subscribe to never miss any of the videos. Turn the notifications on. Check us out on Instagram at Warstu if you want to see the face behind the voice. Also, check us out on Twitter, WarstuG, aka The Nightmare. Yo, Warstu, you're a freaking liar. You said the MonsterVerse was going to get more movies. It is. But why haven't they announced it? Because we're in a pandemic world where things don't get shifted as fast as they used to. But Warstu, Wonder Woman 1984 got greenlit really fast, but it only made $166 million globally, and it was pretty much a flop, but it did well on HBO Max. Yeah, I get it, but Godzilla vs. Kong smashed that. Yeah, I get it. But also, Godzilla vs. Kong smashed Tenet, and that's a Christopher Nolan movie. Yeah, I get it. I get all these factors, I really do. But one thing you've got to consider here is the following. Wonder Woman is a property owned by Warner Brothers. It's a Warner Brothers property. They make it, they produce it. Godzilla vs. Kong is not owned by Warner Brothers at all, whatsoever at all. They own 25% of it, and they're the distributor. It's actually owned by Legendary Pictures that owns 75% of the movie. So the CEO of Legendary Pictures has already stated they have lots of ideas for future MonsterVerse movies. They also thank the fans for supporting it, and it's also just made more money than King of the Monsters, so it's the most successful movie ever. So domestically, it did $80 million, not bad. Internationally, $310 million, 300,000, which is interesting because UK is not, the theatres in the UK are not open. The UK is a powerhouse. The UK does make a massive proportion of global sales when it comes to the box office. The UK people absolutely love the cinema. So globally, it's made $390 million, which is freaking cool, because also you got to factor in Warner Bros. Paid Legendary Pictures $250 million. So if you add that up, it's done close to $600 million during a pandemic when the theatres in Europe are pretty much close. So that is freaking cool. So it's not a state of play saying, are we going to get another movie? It's going to be a case of when will they announce it? As we said, the reason Warner Brothers greenlit Wonder Woman 3 pretty fast was because they own the property 100%. I guarantee if Godzilla vs. Kong and the MonsterVerse was owned by Warner Bros. 100%, we would have got another movie announced instantly. So in 22 days, 3 weeks, it's made $390 million plus whatever Legendary Pictures was paid by Warner Bros. So over $500 million easily at the moment, which is insane. But there's also other factors in play here. Legendary Pictures owns the rights to certain characters, Kong, etc. But Toho licenses out Godzilla and other creatures, other kaiju titans to use. So it's not a simple play, let's announce a massive MonsterVerse slate that I'm probably going to use in the thumbnail. It's the case of Legendary Pictures needs to come up with the ideas. They've probably already got them because this movie did great. And if these are the numbers it's doing during a pandemic, what numbers would it done in the normal? I guarantee this movie would have got close to $1 billion for sure. If Aquaman could get $1 billion, then this movie could have got one in the normal world. So Legendary Pictures have to speak to Toho about a new license. Apparently there is a new license to use Godzilla, but also they need to figure out which way they're going. Now, I think it's clear that they could build a MonsterVerse and have phases like Marvel has done essentially if they wanted to, but it's up to them what they do. So I'm not worried about the kaiju MonsterVerse going forward. I don't need them to reveal something really fast. It's a bit like the Zack Snyder Justice League movie and the Snyderverse. A lot of people are like, yo, but Warstu, you lied because you said the Snyderverse was going to continue. It is going to continue, but it's not going to be a fast-paced thing. It's going to take time. MonsterVerse would take time. Snyderverse would take time. And obviously the Snyderverse is very pinnacle to the Flash movie in some kind of prerequisite, if you get what I'm saying. So it is interesting how a lot of people seem to think the MonsterVerse is over because what? Because it's been nearly a month and they haven't revealed another MonsterVerse movie instantly. No, like I keep saying, Wonder Woman is owned by Warner Bros. Hence why they jumped the gun to like, yeah, Wonder Woman 3, because Wonder Woman 2 did so bad. Less than $200 million. The original Wonder Woman got over $600 million. Yes, it was in a pre-pandemic world, but it came out Christmas Day. The theaters were open in UK. They were open pretty much everywhere to a certain degree. A decent proportion of cinemas were open. You could have actually watched it. In fact, Wonder Woman 1984 was the last movie I watched in the actual theaters, so no excuse for that whatsoever. And then you got to factor in the other money that Godzilla vs. Kong has made, which won't come out on Watch Mojo box office stats, because the box office is actually, the theaters it was on VOD in England on things like Amazon Prime, so it's probably made a lot more money. And this is only based on 3,000 cinemas, which is pretty interesting when you compare it to Tenet, which is 2,900. But as we said, Tenet is a Christopher Nolan movie, and Christopher Nolan movies generally bang. So Godzilla vs. Kong has massively overreached and done so much better than people thought it would. I know people that aren't even Kaiju MonsterVerse fans, and they've watched it multiple times. Now, I'd really love if they did release Godzilla vs. Kong in Europe when the cinemas open in May. I don't really think they're going to do that, but I think a massive factor of why this movie did so well is the runtime's only 1 hour and 53 minutes, and the movie didn't take itself so seriously. Now, I really do think Adam Wingard should have slipped in the DMs with a post-credit scene, but he didn't. But at least there's no pigeonhole. At least they're not backed into a corner of a certain storyline. Although you could say they tease Space Godzilla. But some people seem to think the post-credit scene is how Kong got through to Hollow Earth, but that had to be narratively in the storyline. So yeah, I don't actually believe what Adam Wingard said about that post-credit scene, because we had to see how Kong got through Hollow Earth. That couldn't, I mean, it looked like a vortex, so to speak, but that couldn't have been the post-credit scene, because it happened about 50 to 60% into the movie. So that made literal no sense to me at all. So the MonsterVerse will continue. We're going to get some more Kaiju MonsterVerse movies with time. There's so much potential. It's going to be incredible. So they could use Godzilla. They could use Kong. They could bring King Ghidorah back. They could bring Warstu back. They could bring Destroyer. They could do Destroy All Monsters. But no, that's kind of like, I hate to say Avengers Endgame scale, because that movie was kind of overrated massively, in my opinion, because Zack Snyder's Justice League is much better. At me down below if you don't believe me, but that's my opinion. I do prefer the Zack Snyder Justice League to Endgame, because Endgame was kind of obvious. So it is going to be pretty cool to see where they go. There's so many cool titans they can bring through. Space Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla. Mechagodzilla could return. We want the Mechagodzilla versus Godzilla actual fight when Godzilla hasn't exhausted all his atomic breath. He was tired. He smashed the atomic breath through to Hollow Earth. He'd used atomic breath quite a lot consistently in a row, and he was depowered. It'd be very interesting to see who could actually take out Mechagodzilla versus Godzilla in an actual fight when they are both fresh. Obviously, Mechagodzilla is always fresh because it's mechanical, and they used a bottle of whiskey to essentially take out Mechagodzilla, which sounded like a ridiculous storyline when I read the Plot League so long ago, but it actually did work out in the long run. So like always, guys, let me know, what do you want next? I want them to do another solo Kong movie, another solo Godzilla movie, and introduce some other titans. Clearly, there are other Kaiju titans in Hollow Earth, which is cool because we've seen them. There's a crab-like feature, there's Hellhawks, there's Nezuki, there's Warbat. I know there's the kind of similar things, but yeah, there's got to be more creatures in Hollow Earth that Adam Wingard was talking about, because he said there's a bunch of new characters, and maybe there are some new characters because there is some new info that actually came out that implied there could be a new titan that potentially was introduced in the movie without any of us knowing. So there was some artwork shown off for an unused titan, and I don't know if I put the images here, but if I don't put the images here, I will leave the link down below. Now, it's interesting that this was on Twitter, and the person called Ken said, "Thank you for the positive feedback. Unfortunately, Legendary wants to keep most of my work under wraps. For now, I had to delete it. The good news is there might be a chance for them to use my unused designs another time." So the titan in play is called, I'm probably going to butcher it, but I would pronounce said titan that was unused as Shimidah, Shimidah. Now, it looks pretty cool. Now, the website I'm reading it from is dreadcentral.com, and this article says it kind of reminds me of Return of a Jedi. It appears this monster creature buries itself from underground, leaving its mouth open just below the surface. Anyone unlucky enough to find themselves directly above Shimidah's paw is likely to be digested. Now, I will put some images in, maybe. If not, I will leave the link down below. Also, the same kind of story and article is on Godzilla-movies.com. So like always, guys, let me know, is this a titan that maybe maybe Legendary did try and use, but they couldn't quite slip it into DMs during that movie, would be pretty cool. And also to let me know, guys, what you guys want next in the Kaiju MonsterVerse. Do you want Destroy all monsters? Do you want Destroyer? Space Godzilla? Shimidah sounds pretty cool. It pretty much swallow anything up. And also I was thinking the other day that Mechagodzilla would be pretty easy to take out if you had a Titan that had like EMPs and took all the electrical stuff out. So who am I on about? Obviously someone that went toe-to-toe with Godzilla, obviously. So yeah, Mechagodzilla could have been easy to take out if there was other Titans around that could take out electrical pulses. So like always, guys, check us out on Instagram at Warstu, Twitter, WarstuG, and I'll catch you in another video very soon. Catch ya later.